So the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations had a really great turn of events. We got to see Nigeria win their 10th consecutive trophy of the tournament. We saw Tunisia bottle in their group very embarrassingly. And we got to see Morocco get to the finals for the second time. Now, a lot of these events were really good, but I think one event that needs to be talked about more is the underdog story of Ghana. The Black Queens in this tournament, they played really well, but it was a tough start for them at the start of the moment. But before we get into that, I want to talk more about some of their past tournaments. So the last time that they had gone to the top four was in 2016. They got third place in that tournament. After that, in the next Women's African Cup of Nations, they got into the group stage. The 2020 Women's African Cup of Nations, that tournament was canceled due to COVID. Then the next tournament, 2022, they couldn't qualify after losing 2-1 on aggregate to Nigeria in the first round of qualification. And now, in 2024, they qualified for that tournament. Now in this group, they were in a group with South Africa, who were the defending champions of the tournament, Mali, and Tanzania. So you could say in this group that you would suspect that Ghana would have an easy time getting into that top 2 spot. But it did not start that way. They had a 2-0 loss to South Africa in a game where they definitely could have played better, but they just weren't able to get any other shots in the back of the net. So in the next game, you thought they could bounce back against Mali, but that did not go well because they ended up drawing Mali 1-1. And the problem with that was Ghana was in last place. They were tied on points with Tanzania, but Ghana had a worse goal difference. So that final match day was it really all for it to keep Ghana in the tournament, because Senegal and Botswana, they were both third place finalists, but as the group stayed, Botswana was in second place and Senegal was in first place. So Ghana would have needed to have won this game. If they had tied, they would not go through. And if Senegal had tied, they wouldn't go through. Well, if Tanzania didn't tie, then they wouldn't go through. So it was a must-win for both teams. Ghana ended up getting the first goal in. They were scored by Adobe. Then Tanzania scored back. So it was 1-1. And then with 3 more goals by Kusi, Badu, and Boy Halorka, Ghana managed to get second place in their group, and they did not have to be in the third place. So Ghana ended up facing off against Algeria. And in this tournament, Algeria was another big underdog. In this game, it happened to go to PKs, with Ghana making sure to get that final goal in, and they got to the semifinals. And now they were up against the host Morocco. Morocco, in this game, you would expect it would have been like a very easy match for them, but the Black Queens they did so well in this game. With a goal by Naya Meke, Ghana in this game, this was a game where you believed Ghana could have beaten Morocco, but it went to penalties, and unfortunately, Ghana ended up losing to the host. And it's crazy again, because if you were there in that game, or if you watched the highlights, you would have seen that Ghana played absolute football in this game. They gave the host a tough time, and it would have been insane to have seen them getting it to the finals for another time, but it just wasn't that for it. So then Ghana ended up playing it in the third place match against the defending champion, South Africa, who had lost to Nigeria. In this match, it went into penalties again, and Ghana was able to beat South Africa and get their revenge from the group stage and get that third place. So overall, for the Black Queens, I need to say this again, because this was a true underdog story for Ghana in particular, because when you look at the group, you would have expected Ghana would have had a little ease with Mali and Tanzania, but with a lot of the chances that they had, in that Mali and South Africa game, you were quite wondering if Ghana could have turned the events around. And in that game against Tanzania, it was worrisome for them, because Tanzania was playing great too. But in that late second half, Ghana was able to wake up, and then once they got out of that group stage, I feel like it clicked for them. And in that Algeria game, like it was a tough one again, but they were able to get through that game. And then the Morocco game, I feel like I'm gonna say this. I fully believe that Ghana's game against Morocco in the semifinals was their best game of the tournament. And anyone can say their opinions on it, but that was their best football. Now, looking more into the future of this, Ghana, they have a good chance of making it to the 2027 Women's World Cup, and I personally would like to see them back in that tournament because the last World Cups they've been to was 1999, 2003, and 2007, and they unfortunately ended up going out in the group stage. But the team itself, they got a good lot of players. Their coach Bjorken, like I mean, he looks to be doing a great job. And because remember, like Ghana had Nora Haptul, who's now the Zambian national head coach, like the women's national head coach. If you remember, Ghana gave Zambia a tough time, and they almost got through into the final round for Olympic qualifiers. Just Barbara Banda managed to find that free kick goal in the final seconds. But this is a team where you really have to support them in that you're really excited for them. So again, like there were a lot of other underdogs, but I feel like Ghana needs to be more talked about from this tournament and going on, because we can be talking about Morocco's rise, Zambia's rise, and Nigeria's like domination over the African Federation for the women's football. But like I said, Ghana, you cannot look down on them. This team, they're going to come for you, and they're definitely having their eyes on that World Cup like every other team has and will. But I'm really excited to see how this team does in the qualifiers. I believe they're going to make it to the 2026 WAFCON, and I'm going to be supporting them. I want to see them back in the tournament. But let me know in the comments below what you all thought of Ghana. Let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas on what videos I should do, or like reviews, recaps on. And that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll see